Hey, my name is Dave Mulcahy with Conversion Strategies, and what I'm here to talk to you guys about today are website management plans. So if you are a local business owner, which you probably are here watching this, or if you have to manage a website and you don't have experience with it, you might have come across this blog post and are looking into your options when it comes to finding somebody else to manage your website and whether you actually need somebody or not. So what we do in this blog post is I ran through kind of where we started when it came to website management and kind of where it's at now. So to be honest with you, I'm going to scroll through here. It's never been easier as a business owner to update your own website. So most websites are built using some sort of content management system, a CMS as they're typically called. And so what that means is that there's a software that manages all of your content and the way that it's stored and the way that it's organized, and it makes it super easy for just about any business owner to be able to hop in, log into the back end of the website. If it's WordPress, you can log right into the website. Same with many of the other ones that are out there. In the past there was Joomla, there's Shopify, there's a ton of different Squarespace, and there's a ton of them. So regardless of the ones that you use, you're able to log into the back end and you're able to create new blog posts, new pages, just about anything that you need to do, products, and all that's done in the back end. So years ago, that's not the way that it was done. You actually, for a lot of sites, especially business owners, you had to download the page on the website, make edits to it, and then send it back up, and then your website would be updated. So there's pros and cons now with the CMSs out there, but the big pro is how easy they are to make edits to and to update. The con is there's a lot more moving pieces, and sometimes if something breaks, people don't know where to turn. So that's kind of where we've come from. When it comes to editing your current website, it's probably built on a CMS. If it's not, then you're probably out of date, and there's a good chance if you're a local business that you need to look into something new, because you want to make sure that your website is responsive, and you want to make sure that it's search engine optimized and friendly. And most CMSs kind of get that out of the box. WordPress is one of the better ones, which is why we typically work with that one. But with a WordPress CMS, or with any CMS, you're going to have hosting and management and server monitoring. That's one of the most common things that come along with a website management plan. So with a standard website, you need to own the domain, right? So regardless, we always recommend that a business owner own the domain no matter what. So don't leave that up to somebody else, because there's always a problem when something happens to the business. You have to track down and find that domain. So we recommend owning your domain and your account. Make sure that your account information is always up to date, and that if your credit card, make a note that if your credit card expires, that you go in and update that so you don't ever lose your domain. That's really important. Second, you need to have hosting for your website. This becomes kind of an issue, like what companies that we work with when it comes to website management. We prefer to host the site where a lot of places don't. We prefer that because if something happens, we want to be able to directly communicate with the host and make sure that we can get the site up, rather than having to communicate directly through the client, which can sometimes, it just takes longer to get the site back up, and it's typically more confusing, more difficult. So that's the way that we like to do it. Also, if let's say you set up a hosting plan and we try to manage it, we need to get passcodes. We need to pretend to be you sometimes, or you need to add us as some sort of technical contact. It just becomes more complicated. So we would rather host the site for you. We also do server monitoring. That's a 24/7. We're keeping an eye on the server. If the website crashes even for 30 seconds, we typically get an alert that says your website was down, and here's what kind of error code we were getting. That's really important, because if a website's crashing constantly, it could be a sign of something bad to come, like something that needs to be fixed as soon as possible. So the next thing you need to look for when it comes to a website management plan is website backups and storage. So even if you aren't in a website management plan, you need to be looking at backing up your website on a regular basis, whether you make edits or updates or not. So things can happen at any time. These content management systems are built on their software, and they have software built on top of software. And any time when you make an update, or maybe your hosting provider decides to make an update, things can break, things can go wrong. You go in to make an edit, and you accidentally do something and you break the site, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have a backup at all times of the site. And you don't want it to be 3 years old. You don't want it to be a long time ago. You want it to be as recent as possible. So we do daily backups on some of our plans, and on our lower plans we even do just once a week or once a month. So it just kind of depends to fit the client's needs. Also depends on how often you make edits to the website. So storing it, you want to make sure that you store it off-site from your place that you're hosting. A lot of hosts offer to do a backup and then they store it for you. That's great, but we recommend hosting, storing that somewhere else, because let's say the data center, God forbid, burns down or something. You want to make sure that you have somewhere else. Like they have redundancy and things like that at the data center, but you just want to make sure that you have control. This is our theory. We want to make sure we have control of everything that we can control. And by having a website stored into a Dropbox folder or somewhere else, a hard drive, whatever it is, make sure that we have control of it at all times. So, all right, software updates. This is plugins, themes. So the WordPress, you have the WordPress software that needs to be updated. You have the theme that kind of styles a lot of your website, that needs to be updated. You have plugins, which are control different functionality of your site. Those need to be updated. So that's 3 levels of softwares that need to be updated pretty regularly in order to make sure that your website is as secure as possible and also functions at the highest level possible. So that'll impact your speed, user experience, things like that. Web security, malware protection. So this is making sure that nobody's hacking your site, nobody's trying to get into your site without you noticing it. So keeping the best website security. There's a ton of plugins and things out there for WordPress. We recommend just keeping your site up to date, as often as possible. Doing simple things like having secure passwords, not using the typical admin, username to log into your site. There's a lot of just simple things that you can do to make sure that your website's secure. But updating is by far the most important. So that's what we recommend. And then sometimes, malware does happen, and this is where you see in your text all of a sudden you'll see an unfortunate ad for Viagra or for Cialis or one of those or something else. So we want to make sure that we're scanning the website and looking for any code that's been inputted into your site that is unwanted. So that's really important. So I guess at the end of the day, you got to decide if you want, if you're confident doing that. So a lot of businesses we work with, they just want to be a dentist. They just want to run the martial arts school. They don't want to deal with their website. So we take care of all the stuff mentioned above. And then also what we also do is we include website edits. So sometimes you just want to make a simple text change. You can log in and do that yourself if you want. Otherwise, we have a support center where you can send in those updates and we'll get them done for you as soon as possible. So we're working our way towards a 24/7, round-the-clock website edits service. So we're getting there. That is called webcareplans.com. So we're getting there as quick as possible. We've got a couple more team members we're going to be adding in the near future to make that possible. So if you have questions or there's anything we can do when it comes to your website management or questions about your website management and maintenance, please feel free to reach out to me. My name's Dave. My email is at dm@conversionstrategies.net, or you can get us at info@webcareplan.com. And we look forward to meeting with you, talking about your website, and figuring out what we can do to help take care of any website edits you have. Like I said, some of those are included in the packages. In some of our bigger packages, we even get to unlimited website edits. So if you're making edits constantly, we can help with that. A website edit is any task that takes 1 hour or less for us to complete. If something needs to be done that takes more than an hour, then we provide you with a proposal to make sure we take care of that for you. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me, and I hope this blog really helps you out and gets you pointed in the right direction. And yeah, we look forward to talking to you later. Bye-bye.